Okay, so what we're going to do in this part is start creating an activity log. So we're going to try and monitor when a ball hits another ball, because that will tell us whether we can take a touch to start a spark. Monitor when a ball crosses one of the boundary lines. Monitor whether a ball has gone through the hoop or the gate, and monitor whether the ball has hit the pole. And in each of those cases, we actually need to be able to monitor all of the balls in the same turn, because of course you might bombard two balls out, or you might go through the gate and push another ball through the gate and touch another ball on the way through. So there's every ball needs to have its own monitoring independent of the other balls, and so that therefore we can't just have one dialogue that is just changing with each event. We need to have an increasing list of those events. So in order to accommodate that, what I've done is I've created a, a scrolling list. So this is the scrolling list here. It is a scroll rect, and within it there's a viewport, and within that we can start in creating a list of content. Now the content is going to be simply this TextMesh Pro prefab called activity log item, and watch what happens if I drag that prefab into the list content. See how it increases the it increases the items within that list content, and they start to scroll within the viewport. So this is a very, very useful little technique to create this viewport and add items and have them appear as an ever increasing list. So we'll just get rid of these for the time being, because we're going to actually generate those every time there's an event happening. So whenever an event happens, like a ball collision or a ball crosses the line, what we want to do is generate a new instance of the activity log item in the list content of this viewport. So we're going to do that in general by triggering something in this activity log script, which is attached to the empty controller. And what the activity log script does is simply it takes that TextMesh Pro prefab and it puts it into the content holder in the scrollable space. So it's just one item, one function that needs to be triggered. Make activity log item, which is to make a new TextMesh Pro item by instantiating that prefab, make it a child of the scrollable list, and that will ensure that it becomes an item within the list, and then change the text on that TextMesh Pro to whatever description you want to pass into it. So for example, if we imagine the ball has just collided with another ball, if what it's collided with has the right tag, and all of the balls have the Gateball tag as on them, and if the thing that's done the colliding is the same as the striker ball in the stroke manager, and we're not in spark mode, so there's a few conditions we have to think about, then we can say that we want to report that there's been a hit. So we basically trigger that function in the activity script to say that a particular ball has hit another ball. Similarly, if we attach to the line on the collider on the line, if we attach this script to that line, then we can say if something triggers an entry into the collider, then create an item in the activity log which says that this thing that triggers the collision has crossed the parent of the script. And do the same with the pole. So if something clatters into the pole, we can make an item in the activity log. And the other time that we'll do this is, of course, with the gate. And this time we attach the script to the gate detector. If you remember when we created the gate prefab, we actually had this running detector. So what we put on there is this gate detector script. And the key thing here is that we want to detect both when the ball has entered the detector and when it's left the detector, because a ball might not run a gate if it's only just gone into the detector. It has to come out of the detector as well. And sometimes, of course, you could get it so that it goes into the detector and bounces off because it's actually just bounced off the side of the wire. So we need some, at the moment, we'll need, this will be fine for us to get a feel for what's happened, but later down the track, if we want to automate things, we might need to have a little bit more nuance in there. But this is good for the time being. If we trigger the gate detector, then we can say that the thing that has triggered it has entered the, the gate, and if it leaves, then the thing that triggered it has exited the gate. So we've got four things that we're going to detect: ball collisions, things entering and leaving the gate, things crossing the line, and things hitting the pole. So this one's a collision, this one's a trigger. So let's see how that works in practice. When we press play, we should be able to test all four of those things are happening okay. So the first is when we play this initial shot, um, red 1 has crossed line 4 because it went over that line, which has got the collider on it, which is acting as a trigger. Let's fire this ball at the first gate. I know we're going the wrong way, but there we go. R1 entered gate 1, R1 exited gate 1. And notice the order is sort of with the most recent thing on top. So every time we add an activity item to the list, it goes to the top. Let's just check that it's going to work on here. So let's knock this ball off the, I'll have to stop everything, stroke, and R1 has crossed line 1. Let's play it back onto the field of play. Let's see if we can take an ambitious shot at this gate here. Oh, missed obviously completely, so didn't go through there. Let's bring another ball in. Let's bring ball number 2 in, and let's bring ball number 1 a bit closer so we can give it a good crack. Let's use our new feature here to check that we're going to actually hit it. Stroke, and W2 hits R1. Now, one useful thing to remember there is that I did put some riders on here that if the thing that's being hit is a gate ball, and if the striker ball name is the same as the name of the thing that's doing the hitting, then report this. Otherwise, you report too many um, events on those collisions, because of course every ball is always going to trigger that collision if it hits another ball. So we put the rider on there that it has to be the striker ball to actually make the line item. Let's just check that it can do 2 collisions. So if we bring the number 3 ball in here, let's try and make a collision that's going to hit the number 1 and then hit the number 3. I don't know whether this will work. So stroke, bang. No, it didn't hit the number 3. It only hit the number 1. Let's try again. Let's do. Let's move this number 3 ball. Whoops. And move the number 1 ball and move the target can see this is going to take a little bit of fiddling, but we want to be in it. I might bring another ball in just to really be sure that we're going to get some multiple collisions here. So let's stroke, hit number 3, hit number 5, and there we go. Hits number 3, hits number 5. And then finally, let's just check that it can hit the pole and trigger that. Let's move the white ball and play the shot. And yep, W2 hits the pole. So we can start building up a log of what W2 has hit. Everything's recorded. In the next session, we'll add an extra layer of sophistication so that whenever one of those messages appears, a little button might appear to allow us to do something. So for example, move the ball back in or move it to the outball position, increase the score, or set up spark mode. So rather than just getting this list of things that have happened, we can actually do something with the information that we've been given. So we'll leave that until the next session, and hopefully that will be good.